So, a racist rant against two black girls? Coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as I always say thank y'all for watching. But it were two black girls who basically faced racial slurs, had racial slurs thrown at them while they were at a school council meeting in Denver, Colorado. Now, they were there as part of an initiative to get more funding for the charter school that they attended for various different programs. Now, there was a white female who basically attacked him via Zoom. And she basically called him the N-word and then told him to go back to Africa.
Black girls, students, are subjected to racism during an official meeting. Here it is.
My name's We are from Monarch Montessori, a DPS public school in Montbello.
We are here to ask for help to get our school a yurt for a classroom. Here are some reasons why we need a new classroom.
Yes.
If you need to go back to Africa, nobody wants you here.
Whoa.
All you do is burn it down and ruin stuff. You little.
We are a Montessori school.
You unmuted me again, you dumb boomer. Go ahead, protect.
Producer, can we remove them?
Why would you remove me when you should remove them?
Yeah.
Or better yet, the Jews that brought them here. Disgusting.
They're gone. They're gone from the Zoom. I'm really sorry about that.
I am so sorry.
Can we start the timer over, please?
We're going to sit behind you and support you. You guys are so amazing for being here. We're right here, okay?
Hello, my name's We are a Montessori school that's also a bilingual program.
Now, no one's justifying this. This is not the mentality and the mindset of white people in America. The overwhelming majority of white folks in America would basically criticize this woman and demonize this woman. As you notice, she was quickly removed, right, by white people. Now, it was sad that those girls had to hear that. They shouldn't have to deal with nonsense like this. Unfortunately, that's life, though. Again, and in their lives, I believe one girl was in the 4th grade and one was in the 5th grade. I guarantee you, in their lives, their short lives, they're going to hear more and worse things the rest of their life. Let's be real here. Now, what's bad about it is that, again, pro-blacks have taken this to the extreme as they always do. They're going to cry racism and hype it up. They were, as you can see, that Dr. Rashad Richey did, acting like this is the life for black people in America. Meanwhile, they were going to consistently ignore the real problems in the black community. Now, has Dr. Rashad Richey, has he ever addressed any of the shootings every other weekend in Chicago? I never heard him address that. I never heard him speak on that. He, again, just like most of these pro-blacks, these race hustlers, he continued to ignore that. Again, he will ignore this and they will continue to ignore this. You never hear him say nothing about how dangerous the south side of Chicago is for blacks doing to other black people. Right? As for Dr. Rashad Richey, has he ever addressed the ghetto black culture? The number one problem for blacks in America? That ghetto black culture that keeps pushing ghetto ratchet nonsense, is pushing the culture and the behavior that's been the slow, continuous downfall of the black community since the 1970s, the Great Society, and black females taking the welfare and using that welfare to be more degenerate and not having to take any responsibility. And this is the why we see what's known as the hood. The ghetto black culture was born out of that. Is he, these pro-blacks, are they addressing that, the number one problem facing blacks in America? Nope. They never address anything, right? Has he ever addressed this bad, basically hip hop culture how horrible hip hop has fallen? Has he ever addressed this? No. Has he ever addressed all these female rappers are rapping about being the bad bees? All of them have the bomb ass vagina. All of them rapping about the same ratchet nonsense, scamming, and so on and so forth. Has he ever addressed this? Because nope. But as I was saying, because that right there is going to have more impact upon these little girls than anything that stupid white woman said, that nobody's justified. Has he ever addressed it? Is all the pro-blacks, are they addressing it? No, because they're too busy finding something to cry race about. This is all they do. And this is typical of race hustlers. In reality, he doesn't really care for these girls, and nor do these pro-blacks. They don't care for these girls more than they care about crying about racism. Because if they did, they would be in a hood, in a black community, addressing those behavior, because that's the greater danger. Not some white woman somewhere saying the N-word and telling them to go back to Africa. When they hear the N-word being thrown around by black people, all day, all night, 24 hours, 24/7. It's black people the ones who throwing the N-word around. In every possible way, whether it be a quote-unquote term of endearment or as it is an attack upon someone, blacks throw it around all the time. They don't really care about the black community. They only care about race hustling and making money and basically making income, crying about racism. In closing, though, no, like I said, those girls did not have to hear that nonsense. And this is in no way, shape, or form evidence of any mistreatment of black people in America. That was once isolated white woman. And as I said, she was quickly removed by the other white people. She's quickly removed from Zoom by the other white people who was there. Most white people are not thinking this way. They're out there living their lives trying to, like I said, they get up out of bed, put their pants leg on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. And they're in America trying to just live their daily lives. Regardless, this is not the worst thing that those girls will ever hear. And as I'm saying, I'm saying, we hear all the nonsense in the black community, all the nonsense going on in the black community, and this is what these race hustlers choose to focus on. Not saying that we shouldn't address it, we shouldn't talk about it. I'm not saying that at all. But why aren't we talking about the real issues in the black community? And this is why the black community is always going to suffer. It's because race hustlers like Rashad Richey is going to keep hyping race, knowing that he can make a good bit of money crying race and get the attention of black people crying racism. And he's going to continue to do that. And unfortunately, that behavior is just going to play its part in the continual brainwash of black people. As I say, that black people, the reason why black folks are so brainwashed by race in America is because, you told a lie big enough, long enough, and loud enough, to the point that they believe the lie is true. They have no real evidence of the lie, but they still believe it nonetheless. They're going to continue to believe it. And it's really, as the old saying goes, Mark Twain, it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled. Black people have been fooled by the race narrative, and trying to convince them that they have is an uphill battle. This is the biggest problem for black people in America, but they keep focusing on nonsense. Anyway, y'all, as always, until next time.